Most people in life, they go like this for many years, then like this, right? Ty Lopez, for example, he many years like this, and then he became very successful. But it was the years where he wasn't successful that allowed him to be successful, right? Same for me. Like 4 or 5 years ago on the internet, no one really knew who I was. Now I have a decent following myself and impact. But it was the years of failure, and trying and testing before that allowed me to progress, right? And own businesses and stuff. So just remember, you guys are just in that early phase. Every Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, everyone goes through this phase, right? But you have to go through this phase to get to this phase. So all of the stuff you're going through is literally the same things me and Ty would have gone through. Hiring our first copywriter, setting up our first Facebook ad. Literally, I've gone through every single one of those, okay? I'm just a few years ahead of you guys. So it's all part of the course, all part of the journey. The good thing for you guys is you have mentors like us, me and Ty, guiding you a little more, okay? So, for example, today I'm talking about the key metrics for data. Like, I didn't learn that for 4 years, and it cost me millions of dollars by not understanding it. So, you guys are actually in a great position. Does that make sense? Before I dive into the PowerPoint, we can start off on that note, I guess. Everyone's in now. Okay, let me share my slides. Okay, so I should be able to see my slides. The chat pulled up as well. So just remember, chat's good if it's like, if I'm asking you questions. I'm going to give you guys some maths tests today. So I'm going to say, what's this number? What does that equal? Okay. So get your calculator ready, pen and paper. It's going to be pretty interactive today. So I'll be asking those questions in the chat. I have the chat up in front of me. And then the Q&A, like always, guys, is better. Like if you've got like a long question, put it in there and I'll come back to it at the end. Okay. But it's definitely very interactive. Every slide, I'm going to ask you guys questions and like make you guys do the formulas yourself, because that's the best way you learn, right? It's like, imagine you're trying to learn to swim or play basketball. If you only ever watched a video of playing basketball and never shot a ball, how well would you ever learn it, right? You wouldn't. So today I'm going to go a little slower on the 5 key metrics, but give you real life examples. So does that make sense? That sound good? Is everyone ready to do some actual application and start calculating it in their head today? Good. All right. So before we go in, so what data level are you, right? So this is a question I have for you guys. I've gone over this previously, but I'm interested where you guys all feel you're at, right? So I kind of created this just to kind of rank people. And I mean, it's important for you guys to understand where you're at. So number 1 is you don't really understand it. 2 is you kind of understand the key metrics, CPA, conversion rate, stuff like that. 3 is you understand them all. You're starting to use them a little in your business. 4 is you're using it daily. You're actually getting reports, looking at dashboards, making data decisions. And 5, I would say, is kind of where I'm at, where I understand it all. I make decisions on it. I have reports. I have a team action in it. Like that's kind of when you've been doing it years. So yeah, just put it in chat if you're not already. It's good. Most of you are 1, 2, or 3. A couple of you are towards the 4 mark. A couple of 5s. Good. Okay, good. So hopefully by the end of this training, most of you are towards the 2, right? If you're a 1, you're going to be at 2. And maybe some of you that are 2 or a 3, I'll ask you again at the end, because maybe you're actually lower than you think too. So let's see when we actually apply it, okay? So first data point we're going to discuss is CPA, so cost per acquisition, right? So this means how much does it cost us to acquire a customer? And if you're doing any sort of marketing, this is one of the most important metrics you need to know. But sadly, even big corporate businesses, I've worked, you know, you guys know I have an agency. I've worked with guys doing $50 million a year. They don't even know this number in their business. No one knows it, right? All they know is they spend money, they make more money back, and they keep going, okay? So that's a good problem to have, right? That you spend money, make more back, and you can keep going. But it's super crazy that they don't understand actually how much they spend and how much it costs for a customer. Because just like anything in life, they can be doing good, but how much better could they be doing if they actually knew this, right? And the answer is way, way better. Because one big reason you need to understand CPA, cost per acquisition, is when you're doing any sort of marketing campaign, the cost is going to vary, right? So say you spend $1,000, you get 10 customers, it means you've got $100 CPA, right? $1,000 spend, 10 buyers, it costs you $100 per sale, okay? That's very simple maths. But what if within that $1,000 spend, 2 of the ads were giving you a $40 CPA and 3 of them were giving you like $160 CPA? So the average was 100, but you actually had some at 160 and some that were really good at 40 because you want the lowest cost, right? Lowest cost per sale, okay? We all want to spend less to get more sales, right? So you see how if you didn't understand each ad and each campaign and each strategy, you can't actually look at what's working, what's not working. You're just going to kind of do an average, and that's risky because in every marketing campaign in history, you tend to have good ads, great ads, terrible ads, and ads in the middle, right? Or strategies in the middle. And you want to do more of the good stuff and kill the bad stuff, right? That's all common sense. But you can't make those decisions if you don't know your CPA, right? So does that make sense first? Just say yes in chat if you kind of understand why it's important to look at CPA, right? Because you've got to make judgments on all your campaigns. The next reason it's important, guys, is you might have CPAs changing per platform. So say you run Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, and you do email marketing, right? Your Facebook ads might have a $70 CPA. Your Google ads might have a $40 CPA. Your YouTube ads might have a $90 CPA. And you might be doing emails like paying for email lists or doing email blasts with other people where you pay them to promote. And that might have a $30 CPA. But again, if you don't understand all the differences, you're just running everything and you're still making money, you're spending money, making more back, great. But actually, remember what I said, Facebook like a 70 CPA, say Google had a $40 one, YouTube had a $90 one, then if you can, logically, you would probably pause YouTube and just do loads of Google and maybe some email if it was like a $30 CPA and spend more of your time looking at why this is so successful and half the price of Facebook and YouTube. Again, does that make sense, guys? That different platforms will provide different CPAs. And if you don't understand each one, you're just going to kind of let everything run, which most business owners do. Literally 99% of them don't know this per strategy, per platform, per ad, per video ad, even per product, right? You guys have multiple products. Think about it. You guys have multiple products. You're selling all your products with ads. What if 2 of your products are a $10 CPA? And what if your 7 other products are $40 CPA? And you don't look at per product, you're just selling all your products. If you could see which one had the better CPA, the $10 ones, you would just pause the $40 ones and just draw your attention to the 2 at $10 and scale them up, right? And focus on them, laser focus. But again, most people don't know that. They don't know how to look at that. They don't think to analyze it, and it's a game changer, right? So that's why CPA seems obvious. Well, how much is a sale? Sure, that's obvious, right? Everyone kind of gets that point. Most people don't understand the next point, which is what will make you a master at it, is actually using it strategically, looking at all the variables. Here's another example of CPA. I can go in my ad manager, I can look at age categories. I can look at 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 35 to 40. I can look at male and female. Every single time I go in there and analyze that, I have a different CPA. And if I don't ever check that, then what am I doing? And I've been guilty of this for like 2 years before I even thought to do this. I was running to like 20 to 50-year-olds, never even thought about checking it. And I went in one day and analyzed it, and I was like, oh my God, it's like $30 CPA to 30 to 40-year-olds, $70 CPA to 20 to 30-year-olds, and a $90 CPA to 50-year-olds. What the hell? For 2 years, I've literally just spent millions of dollars advertising to 50-year-olds and 20-year-olds when they cost double the amount. It was insane. And again, most people don't know to do that. They don't think to do that. Maybe male or female. Maybe female is half the CPA, and you should just advertise to them. And then maybe within that, 25 to 30-year-olds are half the price again. All of a sudden, you just halved your ad cost and then halved it again. And now you've just decreased it, right? So think about that. It's like crazy little things like that. And that, again, that's a real life example I just gave you guys. I didn't even know how to check it when I first ran ads. It was like 2 years later, I realized there was a button that showed me how to check the CPA, and I never even looked. And it's like, oh my God, I just spent millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars, running to audiences and interests and age groups and stuff that are like double the CPA of others. It's just insane. So that's why, again, like I always try and say, don't learn from my mistakes. That's why you guys are here, to learn all this earlier on than me, okay? So we're good on CPA. So here's a real life example. Get your calculators ready or pens. So if you spend $2,000 on ads and you make 20 sales, your CPA is $100, right? Very simple, okay? You guys get that. $2,000 on ads, 20 sales, $100 a sale. That's your CPA, okay? So here's a scenario. So say we spend $3,000 on ads and we get 15 sales. What is our CPA? Kind of not too complicated math. So just type it in chat once you know it. Try and do all panelists only, not attendees, because then people won't see the answers and it's good for them to start working it out. So for future, click, you see it says all panelists and attendees, click, change it to all panelists, then it just comes to me. And then that way, every slide we go through it, everyone doesn't see the answer. So it's good people start calculating it, right? So the way to work this out, guys, just divide it, right? So 3,000 divided by 15, 200. Good. So most of you got that, okay? So this is the easiest one, by the way. The next ones get harder. But I'm glad we're on the same page. You guys now understand CPA and why it's so important, right? Let me actually just try and pull something up quickly because I want to show you. So I'm going to try and just show you kind of real life how this works. Okay, here we go. Right, so this is one of my ad managers here, and I literally went into it, right? So this is my ad manager. I went in here, click view charts. So I'll show you one more time. So you hover over the ad, hit view charts here, and then it loads up this, right? You can see performance, you can see demographics, placement, and then delivery. That's less important, but placement, right? So here's a good example. So placement, I can see here, it spent $700 on Instagram, 10 purchases. So that's about a $70 CPA, right? Here, I spent $13,000, 270 purchases. So I put that in my calculator, work out my CPA for Facebook, right? And then next, so here's demographic. This is, remember the one I told you about where years ago I didn't know about this. I found it one day and then saw all the differences. So if you look and then look in the corner, it says men aged 18 to 24. And then below it, it says cost per result. You see that? $38. And then you see the left side, women, same age group, cost per result. You guys all see that? So just remember those two numbers. This is the exact same product, same audiences, same website, literally the same thing. The only difference here is age range and gender. So let me scroll through each one. This is 18 to 24, right? You guys see the difference already. 38, 53. Next one, 44, 49, 47, 51, 44, 43, 54, 63, and look at the left, $298. And then 42. So if I was looking at this, I might say, well, the lowest is 38 here, 44 is pretty good, 47 is a little more, 44 is good, 54, 42. So, and if you look at female, only one, so 43, this is pretty low, 45 to 54 females. But the rest of them, look, then about 50, 55, 60, and then 300. So if I wanted to optimize this campaign, a logical thing to do is I could just run it 18 to 24-year-old males, $38, cheaper than all of them, right? Another one, 44, is pretty cheap, so I could do 25 to 34-year-old. Okay, so you guys see, even within this, like a $60 CPA versus a $38 CPA, that's like 33% difference. That's the difference between profit and no profit. So it's a huge deal, right? So does that all make sense? You guys see that and could see my screen and understand that part of it? And that's just one example, right? You want to look at it platforms per platform. When you're advertising multiple places, Google, Facebook, YouTube, video, like you might run a video versus non-video. Look at the CPA. Okay. Right, so next one, see my screen again. So next one, cost per click, okay? So cost per click, how much does it cost per click? Very simple, right? And this is always normally if you click on Facebook ad, for example, or Google ad to your website page, right? Cost per click. So what's important to look at here is how much does it cost? And then this is kind of half the equation, right? First thing, we want to monitor cost per click. And later I'm going to teach you earnings per click. They're kind of like husband and wife, hand in hand, right? Cost per click is how much we spend. Earnings per click is how much do we earn, how much do we make per click. Now, guess what you can do with those two numbers? If you pay $40, 40 cents for a cost per click and you earn 60 cents back, is that good or bad? Spend 40 cents per click, earn 60 cents back. Good or bad? Just type in chat. Okay, it's good, right? It's great. Every 40 cents I put in, I make 60 cents back. So now if I put $40 in, I should make $60 back. If I put $400 in, 600 back. 4,000, 6,000. 40,000, 60,000, right? And that's kind of how your ad accounts will go if they're doing well. You're unlikely to put like 40 grand in and make $300,000. That's like a 6 times ROAS or whatever, right? Normally with ad accounts, you know, these days, years ago, you could make crazy returns like that, but it's more popular these days, right? It's like the stock market. If you got in Tesla years ago, you could get crazy growth. If you get Tesla stock now, it's like already super high, right? So it's kind of like that on Facebook. Still a good time to do it, really good time to do it, but you're not going to be getting like insane things like it's a new platform, right? It's not everyone's on there. So cost per click is important because you want to look at cost per click versus earnings per click, right? Now, the other reason it's very important, guys, is you want to establish, write this down. You need to establish an average cost per click for your business, okay, on Facebook. So what I mean by that is after you've ran a bunch of ads, you've ran, spent a few thousand, tested different ads, you should understand an average cost per click. I know in all my accounts that I run, fitness, business, ties, other accounts I run, I know what the average cost per click is. Now, why is that important, Rudy? Well, when you launch an ad, 2 days in, it's not probably spent enough to make a good decision on if the ad should keep running or not, right? If you guys even ask me, say, Rudy, how long should I run an ad for? I say, well, let it run a few days, get a few sales, spend a couple of hundred, right? But if you become very clear on your cost per click and you've ran the account and you start to learn it, then you should know within a couple of days how well that ad will do, right? So if you've ran your account and you've learned your cost per click for every ad and the average cost per click is $1, and then you launch a new ad and it's $3, what are the chances it's going to be successful? Very low, right? There are occasions when you have a higher cost per click and it's like a really good ad, it might get people to convert way better, but that's kind of rare, okay? On average, when I'm talking broadly, if a cost per click is normally $1 and it's now $3 for this ad, chances are, unless it's like a big unique video ad that makes everyone buy right away, it's not going to work, okay? On the flip side, if you know your average cost per click's $1 and you launch some new ads and they're 50 cents and they're not not majorly different, like this, you don't want them. It can be bad if they're way cheaper because maybe like advertising to a third world country, or you don't really say what it is. It's like, click here for $3,000. Then of course the cost per click is going to be low. But if it's a similar ad, right? So it's not like deceitful or clickbaity and the cost per click's half, then what does that mean? It probably means, wow, this is a really good ad. Let's leave this running. Let's hope it optimizes. It has the potential to be a good ad. So the reason cost per click is also very important, not only as a metric to compare versus earnings per click, but it's going to give you guys a really good baseline when you're starting out and you're not getting hundreds of sales to start to see trends in your ads, right? And if you notice all your video ads are half the cost per click of your image ads, what should you say, right? You should say in your head, wow, I'm noticing trends here. My video ads are better. I get more sales. The cost per click's half. People who must just like love the video ads. What should I do in my business? I should do more video ads, right? And it might be the flip side. Maybe the image ads are way better and they're working better. Cost per click's always lower. Get more purchases. Do more of that, right? So does that make sense, guys, for cost per click? Okay, now the other cool thing about cost per click is it helps you do a lot of the maths that I'm going to teach you in a minute, okay? And someone asked what's unique click. It's just like you measure cost per click in Facebook and different platforms. You can measure link clicks and sometimes you can measure, and it gives you the option to measure unique link clicks. You just want to check both because sometimes link clicks, say you get 100 link clicks and you get 95 unique link clicks, okay? Unique link clicks means 95 different people click the ad. Whereas a link clicks, where it doesn't say unique, just link clicks, means 100 clicks were from that ad. But if 95 unique people clicked it, it means 95 people saw it, but maybe 5 of them clicked it twice, right? Now, that's not a big problem if it's just a small percent, okay? But maybe, I don't know, it's not so much an issue on Facebook because the ad's like seen and then it goes again. But maybe in like an email, I don't know, someone leaves it open and clicks it like 25 times for some reason, then it skews the data, right? If you've got like the same person just clicking it 100 times or someone's testing it or something, then it's not going to give you accurate data if like the same person clicked it 20 times. That's why unique link clicks a little more accurate because it's not going to like count the 25 times that one person clicked it, okay? Most of the time it's not an issue, but it's worth noting just in case, okay? So in terms of the maths of it, right? So if we spend $100, say we spend $200 on ads, right? We get 100 clicks, 2% cost per click, okay? So I'll delete this. Let me change some of these stats to give you guys. Okay, so here we go, guys. So this is some maths now, right? So yeah, unique link clicks minimizes error, right? If someone was spam clicking it or something, because it would give you wrong data. Because if you just measured link clicks and spent $100 and it said 100, you'd be like, well, my cost per click's $1. But if one person clicked it 50 times, you actually only got 51 people on the site. So in my eyes, your link clicks would actually only be 51, right? The unique link clicks is only 51 because the person clicking it 50 times, he's not going to buy 6 times, right? You always want unique people, not so much someone spam clicking. And it's rare, but it's worth noting, right? So here's some maths for you guys. So say you spend $400 on ads, you get 100 clicks. What's your cost per click, right? It's $4, simple maths, right? Now, my question is, if you get a 2% conversion rate, so 2% of people buy your product, what is your CPA? Okay, so we just went over CPA. Just type it in chat. I'm going to keep teaching you this. So if you can't work it out yet, don't worry. But let's see who can work it out already. So $400 spent on ads, 100 link clicks, 2 sales. What is the CPA? Okay, good. So a couple of people got it. $200, right? Because look, you spent $400 on ads. You got 100 clicks. 2 people bought it, right? So it's just you halve it, right? Half the spend, 2 sales. So it would be a $200 CPA, right? And then this is where the data comes important now. I'm going to try and give you guys a real life example. If you said in your own head, well, I can't get the conversion rate much higher than 2%. I've tried for many years. Like, this is real life, right? Say I have my old fitness business. I've run that for 6-7 years. It's done millions of dollars. We've tested the landing page like 100 times, and it just sits around 2%. Don't ask me why, just the industry, the way it's made, the offer, it just sits around 2%. Can't get it higher. I've had world-class copywriters, dozens of them try. I've tried, just sits at 2%. Okay, and this is kind of how most businesses go. You kind of get like an average conversion rate for your business at some point. Okay, so if I have a 2% conversion rate, and right now if I was running ads, $4 cost per click, $400 spend, that's a $200 CPA, right? We just went over that. And if I'm like, well, this is no good, I'm only making $100 a sale, then what can I do easily in my head? I can say, well, I don't think the conversion rate is going to go up anymore. I've been trying it for 7 years. I want to try and break even on day one because I have a back end, right? And I make more money there. So what do I need to get my cost per click down? Type it in chat. Try and do it to all panelists only, not participants. What would I need to get my cost per click down to break even? Okay, so it's currently a $200 CPA. In my head, I say I want it as $100 now. What would I need to get my cost per click down? 2. It's a very simple maths equation. So it's currently a $4 cost per click, $200 CPA, right? If I want to get it to $100 CPA, what would I need to get my cost per click down from? It's $4 currently. What would it need to be? Okay, anyone get it right? A few of you guessing. Just guess. No, it's private. No one can see it but me. Okay, good. So $2, you guys got it right? So I'm currently a $4 cost per click, $200 CPA. I want to get it to $100 CPA. Then it's very simple, right? I need a $2 cost per click. You just halve it, right? $200 CPA, $4 cost per click, $100 CPA is the goal, half the cost per click, $2, right? Because $2, so you can reverse engineer it now, right? If you said $2, let's check if your maths are correct. You would just do $2 times 100, because that gives you 100 easy maths for conversion rate, right? Equals $200, and then 2% conversion rate, so 2 of those people convert, equals $100 CPA, right? So you guys are correct. So it's very important because now, if you know that number, what's the only thing you should ever do in your business for the next 3 months? If you've tried the sales page 100 times, your back end's dialed in, what's the only thing you should wake up every day and do to try and get a $2 cost per click? Type in chat what you would do for the next 2 or 3 months. One person got it right so far. What lowers our cost per click, guys? If we need to get it from $4 to $2. So we don't necessarily want more clicks, because remember, more clicks, it's just a $4 cost per click, right? We need cheaper clicks. How do we get cheaper clicks? So here's some of the answers. So make your ads better, correct. Testing ads, correct. Better headlines, better ads, yeah. Change your audience, yeah, you could change your audience. Someone said increase AOV, so that's how much you make. So increasing AOV, that would be like another way to do it, right? If you tried to get your ad cost down, cost per click, and you couldn't do it, then the other option is you say to yourself, well, I can't get my sales page converted, and I've tried for years. I just spent the last 3 months trying to get my cost per click down. I got it down to $3, but there's no way I'm going to get it to 2. And this actually blends well into the next one. So what's the option, right? Say I try for 3 months. I hire every expert in the world. You hired me, you hired video editors, you hired 5 of the top ad experts and copywriters, and collectively we all worked with you and we got it to a $3 cost per click. So if we got it to a $3 cost per click, what is the CPA, guys? So now we're at a $3 CPA. CPC, sorry, cost per click. What is the CPA? So 100 clicks is how much? This is how you work it out, guys. 100 clicks is what? 100 times free, okay? And we know, good, we have a 2% conversion rate. So what's 300 divided? What's 300 halved? So it costs us $300 to get 100 clicks. 2% conversion rate means 2% of 100. 2 of 100 people buy. What is our CPA now? 150. Good. Okay, so this leads us to the next one. So we've exhausted the sales page. We've now exhausted trying to get our cost per click down, right? We've spent years on the sales page. We've now worked for months to get the cost per click down. What's our only option now? Who can guess what the next option is? We're at $150 CPA and we make $100 per sale, right? Using this example. So we're losing $50 a sale. It's better. Before we were losing $100 a sale. What's the next option? What else can we do apart from give up? What's the only other thing we could really do at this point? Good, increase AOV. So I will bring that up here. So AOV, right? So there's two options. AOV, so that means average order value, how much you make per sale, okay? And then we've talked about conversion rate, and we're going to go into EPC. So average order value, how much we make per sale, right? That is the main option. The second option, a few of you said it, so I'll address it, is the back end, okay? So the back end is the lifetime value, how much we make after day one. Now you're both right. You want to increase the AOV, you want to increase the LTV. Let me tell you why. Who can guess why would I want to work on the AOV before the back end? Who can get it? This is a harder answer. Who can tell me why I would want to work on the AOV first instead of the LTV? I would want to work on both. You're right. But yeah, good. So you got it. I'm impressed. So faster to break even, right? Or cash flow, immediate results, right? So both options work, but if I've worked on my back end, which means I make more money over 90 days, I'm going to be losing $50 a sale. So if I want to scale and get to 100 sales a day, I'm losing a lot of money every day. I'm losing $5,000 a day or something, right? So not many of us can afford to lose $5,000 a day to make the money in 90 days time. It's like 150 grand a month. If it took 90 days, that means you'd have to go $450,000 in the hole, right? Over 450,000 over 3 months to break even on day 90, okay? And that's real. Like a lot of businesses, bigger businesses will do exactly that. But most of you don't have the cash flow for that. I do, but I wouldn't want to do that. That's even a lot of money for me to go in the red, right? $500,000, it's a lot. It's kind of risky unless you're like a $100 million business and you know your back end's dialed in, right? So what's more comfortable for people starting out or any business, right, is if we can get the AOV to $150 and then the CPA is $150, now it's perfect, right? Now we break even and we make another $50 over 90 days. Now we're $50 in profit. So now what happens, guys? Those exact same maths. If we get 100 buys a day, how much do we make on day 90? Can anyone guess? I already gave you the answer. So if we now break even on day one and we make $50 a sale profit over 90 days and we get 100 buys a day, how much do we make at 90 days? I already said it, the number. 450K, right? I just told you how much we lose. If we lose $50 a day per sale and there's 100 buyers, we lose 150K a month, 30 days in a month, $5,000 a day times 30, 150K. But now if we break even and we actually make $50 a sale over 90 days, we make $500,000 every 90 days in profit, right? So who wants to do that? I would do that if I could break even every day, but no, in 90 days, I'm making 450K in profit just from my back end, right? And that's why now you guys are understanding. Remember, I've talked about the back end a lot. You guys probably didn't really get what I meant or why you would do it, but this is real life stuff. This is exactly how it could work, right? So now if you have a good back end, you break even and you make all the money on day 30, day 60, day 90 by selling other products, doing affiliate stuff, doing high ticket. That's how you make real money, right? Break even, but you know over 90 days you make $50 profit per sale. It's great, okay? So let's get back to AOV. We went off a little about the back end, but I think it's important for you guys to understand how it connects now, and hopefully some of you do. Because that's why I'm always ranting about the back end, right? I'm always talking about it because that's what can make a lot of money. People don't really appreciate it. Most people want to see the money on day one, like I used to for many years, but now I've learned to be more patient, build a good back end, because it kind of compounds, right? But anyway, back to AOV. So average order value, how much you make per sale. We've already talked about why it's so important, right? Because I gave you a real life scenario where you was running your ads, you were at $200 CPA, you started optimizing the sales page, and you spent years optimizing it, you got it to 2%, you couldn't get it anymore. So then you spent the next 3 months optimizing your Facebook ads, you brought in experts, you got it from $4 down to $3. Great, but even the world's leading experts were all like, we can't get it any lower. This is just what you're gonna have to pay. We've tested thousands of ads. So what do? Do you quit or do you work on something else? You go work on something else, right? Next thing is what's logical. Well, the AOV, let's try and get the AOV from $100 to $150. Now we're break even, right? And then stage 4 after you did that would be the back end, right? And how do we make $50 per sale in profit after day 1? Because maybe that's how we make all the money for our entire business. And that's okay. Most big businesses in the world make all their money on the back end, right? Some of you have heard my cruise ship analogy. $500 cruise, they don't make any money on a $500 cruise. They make it on everything else. And then when you come back on the cruises, they lose money on the $500 initial cruise ticket, right? It's all the other stuff, the upsells, the back end, the internet. When you come back and rebook your next cruise, you upgrade to a balcony. You do excursions where they're making $100 profit per one. So all the big businesses do it. You guys got to do it too, right? But anyway, AOV, okay? So we've talked about it. It's how much you make per sale. Hopefully you guys see with this real life example why it's actually so important, because it can be like make or break your business. If you're at a sticking point, you've got to boost it. But most of you would never even get to this, because if you didn't know all the data and all the maths that we've gone through, you guys would just, most guys, not just you guys, everyone they're just lost, right? They're like, really, my business doesn't work. And they don't understand the data to actually zone in why, okay? There's always a logical answer. It's either the sales page, the offer, the upsells, i.e. the AOV, the conversion rate, maybe it's the cost per click, which is the ads. So do you guys just say yes in chat if you now kind of see how this actually lets you run your real business? It lets you highlight where the weaknesses are, what you need to optimize, what's going well, what's not going well, what's the next thing to work on. So remember, I say how powerful it is. I'm not exaggerating here. It's like crazy powerful. It's like actually really understanding how to run a business. Because if you don't understand it, you just guess. You're just like, I don't know why my business isn't working, right? So, and yeah, a couple of you said it's still confusing. Like, this is like I said, most people spend years trying to learn this. You guys are like thrown in at the deep end and you're just new to this. But you already understand more than most people just after today. So it'll start to click as you like do it yourself and just save this, rewatch it. Like I would just rewatch this PowerPoint like once a month, because you'll like rewatch it a month later and be like, oh my God, it all makes sense now. And then a month later, you'll be like, wow, I'm actually doing this. And I remembered my AOV was here. I added these upsells. Now it's here. And now I can spend more on my ads. So just kind of start rewatching it, right? It's okay to be a bit confused right now. Like I said, for many years, I didn't even know what AOV was. It took me like 3 years to even calculate my AOV for my own business, because I literally was like, I spent this much today. I made $1,000 profit. Let's keep going. It's like how I ran my business for several years, right? So yeah, just to close a loop on AOV, we increase AOV. Yes, you'll get the slides. We increase AOV with what, guys? Order bumps and upsells, right? That's why I talk about why upsells are so important, right? Because with this real life scenario I gave you, if you didn't have upsells or didn't know how to optimize them, your business would be stuck. You'd be losing $50 a sale. So you have to, you now have to improve that AOV by working on more upsells, okay? So next one is conversion rate. We already talked a little about conversion rate, right? So conversion rate is the percentage of people that convert, okay? So it's a vital number, right? And if you go in your Shopify stores, I think on the homepage, you can set it so you can actually see what your conversion rate is site-wide. That's great, right? So you need to be looking at this, okay? Because if your conversion rate is 0.4%, it doesn't matter how good your ads are, doesn't matter how good your products are, there's a problem on the website, right? Or maybe the traffic is terribly low quality and none of them are buying, okay? So you need to understand your conversion rate. You need to monitor it. You need to improve it, okay? Like me, I spent many years working on my conversion rate. It hit a ceiling or a plateau. It's going to do that eventually for the product, but you can always push it, right? Always keep testing, okay? It takes many years, hundreds of trial and errors and split tests to really ever hit a ceiling, okay? And I'm sure I will still break through it one day. It's just going to take something unique in that fitness business, okay? So yeah, always look at it, always work on it. We've spoke about what improves conversion rate in previous, previous slides and in ECS, right? What improves conversion rate? Headlines, how strong the offer is, how strong the copy is, the images, videos. The price is a massive determinant of conversion rate. Speed load is a smaller one, but yes, that is important. So you remember, if your conversion rate's down, got to work on it. People ask you throughout this, you guys have said, what's a good cost per click? What's a good conversion rate? It's very hard to say, guys, because every industry is different, right? I can open one of my ad managers now, and I'm at a $5 cost per click, and I sell dozens of programs a day, not a problem. My fitness account is $1 cost per click, and it does well. I have agency clients at $2, some at $3, some at $4. Every industry is very different, okay? So, and someone just said it really is never ending testing and tweaking. Yeah, you guys see now, because there's so many things to always optimize, and you never it's kind of like working out, right? Most people, when they work out, they start working out to lose 10 pounds, and then they get into it, want bigger biceps. Then 4 years later, they go and take up a sport. So, most things in life, when you get into it, it's like you have a goal, but you keep getting better and better and pushing it, right? So with this, yeah, you're never going to stop testing, because, maybe after years and years on the same product, you would exhaust every idea, but most of you probably aren't going to be selling this store in 7 years, right? You're going to test this, optimize it, hopefully make some money for a couple of years, and you guys will be on to something else. And then you've got to start the whole process over again. But luckily now you've learned all the stuff over here. So when you jump to your next concept or your next business or idea, you already learned what worked well over here. That's what I did for my fitness business. I learned for many years. And then when I started my next business, I just took all the winning ideas and stuff I did straight over. And now my pages just work straight away. Okay. And that's why clients hire me and spend lots of money with me, is because they're basically buying that years of testing and experience to kind of jump ahead, right? And that's just like any expert in life. You hire them because they have years of experience and they can kind of expedite you, okay? And yeah, someone else said you have to be a mad scientist. I think the reason I did so well, for those of you who don't know, I actually have a master's degree in exercise science. So I was a scientist, and part of what I used to do as a scientist, it was exercise science. We would test little variables in the diet, in a supplement, in a training technique. What if we do 15 reps instead of 10? What if we do a drop set? What if we reduce carbohydrates by 10% on elite performance, right? So it's a very similar concept. How can we make an athlete 1% better, or 1% faster, or 1% less, body fat? How can we make our funnel 1% better, right? It's a very similar concept, okay? So conversion rate is very simple. It's number of visitors divided by number of sales, okay? So just write that down, number of visitors divided by number of sales. So ROAS, a very simple one. I'm going to move through the next couple quicker because they're kind of less important than the first few, and that they're a little more simple. So ROAS is just return on ad spend, right? It's kind of like once the rest of the numbers above are in place, you know how much you spent, you know how much you earn back, it's your ROI, okay? This is kind of self-calculated. If I spent $1,000, I made $1,500 back, my ROI is 1.5, right? And really ROI is important. It's going to show you how much you made back. but you can't manipulate it as much, right? Everything that I just discussed, so cost per click, AOV, conversion rate, they're what dictate the ROI. The ROI is just like a cool number that you watch, right? It's not like a variable you manipulate. You manipulate all the other variables to get a better ROI, okay? One I skipped when I was going through the kind of system was click-through rate. This is like an extension on the ad manager to look at, okay? Click-through rate is how many people see my ad and they click it, okay? So you want around a 1 to 2% click-through rate. That's really the main thing to write down here, guys, is you want a 1 to 2% click-through rate, okay? That means that for every 100 people, 1,000 people, or 10,000 people that see your ad, this many will click through it, okay? A bad ad will get 0.4%. A good ad will get 2%, okay? What's going to be better as an ad? The one that gets 2% or 0.4? Most of the time, the one that gets 2%, right? The one that gets 0.4, it just gets 5 times less people, okay? So the only time, let me just tell you, because I tried to explain this earlier. Who can tell me the only time the one at 0.4 might beat the one at 2%? Can anyone guess why the 0.4 might beat the 2%? Well, it's not high ticket items because I'm talking about going to the exact same product, right? It's like a Facebook ad, 2 different ads run to the same program, okay? International quality, yeah. So a couple of you have got it. So the only time 0.4 might beat 2%, there's 2 reasons, right? One might be the traffic source. I might be able to run to a third world country and get a 2% click-through rate. But if none of them are ever going to buy, and the 0.4% is people in America, for example, first world country, the 0.4, even if they get some buyers, are going to win, right? So the quality of traffic, okay? The other time, this is very important, no one got this yet. This is the more important thing that most people don't understand. It took me many years to get this concept. Some of you won't understand it today, but it's a little more advanced. If you write, I'll try and explain it as simple as I can. If I write a Facebook ad that's like, how to get a 6-pack today, click here, that's going to get a 2% conversion rate, right? Everyone's going to click it. However, if it sells a $100 ab workout on the next page, how many people will buy it, right? Not many, okay? If I write, join my ab workout plan, here's what you get, it's $99, click here to join. If that has a 0.4% click-through rate, that might still beat the 2% one because the quality, someone kind of got it, the quality of traffic is much better because they already understand what they're going to do. They see the benefits, they know the price. So even if you get 5 times less people, they understand why they're going to the next page, okay? It's very, very important you guys understand this, because if you just look at click-through rate and cost per click, you might do kind of catchy ads, right? Like grab your headphones now, but you might have a better ad that's grab your headphones now for $20, and the cost per click's higher, the click-through rate's lower, but the person's more qualified because they understand why they're going to the next page versus just getting them to click, right? So there's not always a right or wrong. Sometimes like more clickbaity stuff still works. Sometimes the more direct stuff works better even if the cost is double. So you guys have to be very clear on that and test both, because sometimes the cheap clicks with more clickbaity, catchy stuff will work best just because it's so much cheaper. However, other times you have to be very specific. What is this? Why am I clicking to the next page? What do I get? How much is it? Say you're clicking over to our product page where you can buy the headphones for just $30. It might cost you double, but you know the person clicking already knows the price, right? I was taught that conversion rate was a king metric. Conversion rate is the king metric, but here's the problem with conversion rate. If you get a load of people that click on an ad that says, get a 6-pack tomorrow, your conversion rate is going to be like 0.1%. Whereas if you get someone here that clicks on the ad and knows it's a program, your conversion rate might be 3% because the quality of traffic's so different. So your conversion rate can actually be thrown off if you get a load of crappy traffic, right? Versus good traffic. So that's why conversion rate's good, but it's going to get manipulated by how good the traffic is. If I run traffic to third world countries versus USA, my conversion rate in USA might be 5%. My conversion rate in third world countries might be 1%. So if the cost per click is 5 times lower to third world countries, this is real life in my fitness business, it's 5 times lower, but the conversion rate is 5 times lower. So it's literally identical. Even though I'm paying 5 times more to America, they buy 5 times more when they get to the next page. And guess what? They buy more stuff over the next 2 years with me. So they're actually a better customer, right? Even though the cost is the same. But if I just looked at Facebook ads and the cost per click is 5 times lower for a third world country, then I might just do that. But then I would actually be wrong, because this person buys just as well in America, and then they spend more money over the next 60 days with my back end. So actually this is the better customer for me, but I got tricked because I didn't understand data enough to make the right decisions long term. Okay, and that's like the next level, right? It's not just understanding each metric, because most of you guys learned that today. It's now understanding how do they kind of click together and create a picture, right? It's like not one color on a picture, it's like the total picture, okay? And that's kind of like stage 3 and 4 is when you see how they all work together and play off each other, okay? So I know that's a little more complicated. Hopefully most of you understood the big picture concept, okay, of that one. So earnings per click, I went over this earlier. We got to wrap up soon. Earnings per click is how much do we earn per click, okay? It's very important to understand because we want to compare it to cost per click, right? If we get $1,000 in sales revenue, $1,000 in revenue, we had 500 clicks, our earnings per click is $2, right? If our cost per click was only $1, then great, let's do more of that. Let's spend more money because we make double back per click, okay? It's very important. And it's important to know because if you start new ads, or you say you move to Google ads, for example, right? If you move to Google ads and you've already been on Facebook and you know you have a $2 EPC and you launch your Google ads and they're $1, in theory, they should work pretty well. If you launch them and they're $7, you're probably like, oh, we got to be careful here. Let's monitor this over a few days. I don't think it's going to work. The cost per click is way too high, okay? And we can kind of do that in my businesses, in Ty's businesses, because we know all this data. So within a week, within a day of something going live, we can say, it's probably going to work, or let's move on. I don't think this is going to work very well, right? And that allows you to make quicker decisions, to move faster. And remember, the most successful people in the world, money loves speed, right? So being able to move faster, test faster, change faster is pinnacle, okay? And you can do that by knowing this more. And it also allows you to spend less money, right? Because once you know your metrics really well, you don't have to run it for a week and see if it gets sales, because 90% of the time, your predictions are correct because you know all your data points so well, okay? So the last one, and then we'll wrap up, is cart abandonment rate, okay? So this is another important one. It's not kind of connected to the others because they're all like front end. This is after the page, the first page. But this is how many people abandon the cart, okay? So if you get 100 people on your cart page and only 20 buy, you have an 80% abandonment rate. The reason I'm teaching you this is it's very, very important because a lot of you will have a high abandonment rate, okay? So if you have a high abandonment rate, you need to optimize what? Your checkout page. And just imagine for a second that you spent a year getting everything right that I just taught you on the last 6 slides, but you never learned this. And then all of a sudden, nothing was working. And you hired me one day for 20 minutes. And I said, look at your abandonment rate. It's 95%. No wonder no one's buying. You've got an ugly checkout page. You've got 4 pages. I can hardly load it on mobile. That's what you've lost $2 million in the last year because of this damn checkout page. Go fix it. Now all of a sudden your whole funnel works, right? And that's what's happened in real life with some of my clients, okay? So again, trying to teach you early, right? Someone said, what's a bad EPC? Again, there's no bad EPC, right? EPC for some people could be 40 cents, $1, $2, $3, okay? It's more, a bad EPC is if it's lower than your CPC. That's very important to understand. If your cost per click is $1 and your EPC is 50 cents, it means for every dollar you spend, you make 50 cents back. And this is why I've got to teach you guys the real understanding of this. and I can't give you metrics, right? Because if I said to every one of you, a good EPC is $1, it might not be. Some of you might spend $4 at cost per click, $1 EPC, you're losing $3 every click. And then you come back to me next week and said, Rudy, I spent 10 grand on ads because I had $1 EPC, but I somehow lost like $7,000. What happened? I'm like, well, yeah, your cost per click was too high. No wonder you lost so much money, right? So you got to understand it, because everything's based on your brand and you as an individual, okay? So let's go into Q&A. I will get you the slide links now. Definitely rewatch this. I know some of you said my brain hurts. That's okay, guys. I told you, this is like more advanced than most business owners know in years. It's more than I knew for many years, okay? So it's okay. You know, it's like learning to bike for the first time. You fall off, graze your knee a few times, but you keep at it and, you know, put the stabilizers on, for whatever you guys call it in America. And then after a few years or a few months of biking, you take the stabilizers off and you can start to bike, right? It's kind of the same with data. It's going to be confusing a little, but it's very important to learn. And when you do, it makes you much more powerful as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, not just in this business, like in any business you ever go into, any walk of life. If you can understand data, then you're going to be more powerful with money, right? And making decisions as a business owner and entrepreneur. So let me grab these links. I hope you enjoyed today. I see some of you did. And we'll do a couple more over the next couple of months, like revisit it. I'll give you guys some more examples. I'll try and give you guys a table or a dashboard that you can fill in with your own data eventually. And then when you have it in front of you, you'll start to see trends, okay? I didn't get time for it, but here's some example scenarios, pulling it all together. So you guys could sit and try and do this on pen and paper after this if you want to. Might be good for you. I'm probably going to go through this with you in a week or two anyway. But yeah, I wanted Scott, even though Scott's was faster last week, I gave him the slides to do. So I wanted him to cover like some of the basics. So you started to learn the names and stuff, which I think still helped today, even if last week was a little more confusing. It started to introduce you to it for today. So, all right, guys. Well, I'll answer a few questions. I got another call in 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll answer a few in Q&A, and we'll have more time for Q&A next week, okay? So someone asked, what's a better ad set that had a click-through rate than less than 1%, a purchase, or one with no purchase but a 2% click-through rate? So obviously purchase always dictates it, right? So someone asked, what's better, a lower click-through rate with a purchase or a 2% click-through rate, okay? I would argue in isolation, the one with a purchase, right? But that's a case where you might want to let it run longer because maybe the 2% one will catch up. Who knows, right? What key metrics should we focus on? I would focus on conversion rate, cost per click, average order value, and then obviously spend and revenue, okay? Should we not start our email campaigns until we break even? No, no, no. So email is a back end, right? So email can actually help you break even, okay? How long does it take for the pixel to be trained? The more sales, the better, right? So if you get 50, 100 sales, the better. So the more, the better, okay? A click doesn't mean it's a sale, correct? No, exactly. A click is to the website page. But remember, the average conversion rate for most of you guys will be 2%, right? So think about it. If most of you have a 2% conversion rate and you sell a $50 product, what do you need the cost per click to be? Who can work it out? If it's a $50 product, 2% conversion rate, what do you need the cost per click to be? I'll write it here in case some of you are visual like me. Let me close this, then I'll wrap up for today. So, I don't remember what I said. 2% conversion rate, $50 product. What do you need the cost per click to be? Anyone get it right? So it's easy to work out, guys. Even if you're not good at math, just guess. So say I had a $1 cost per click, right? I'm just going to guess. $1 cost per click times 100 clicks equals $100. What's 2% of $100, right? Divide by 2 equals $50. Oh, look at that. There we go. The answer was right, okay? So you can kind of guess and manipulate it, right? Because you could say, well, if I had a $2 cost per click, I would then spend $200 to sales would give me $100 CPA, okay? And you can kind of just sit there and do the maths for your own product. And you say, well, if I got 100, if I could get the cost per click to 150, and this is kind of what I do with my team. I'm like, well, what variables can we manipulate to get this funnel working? So I'm like, well, if I got $1.50, 100 clicks, that means I would now be at $150 divided by 2. So it would make my CPA is that, right? So then I might say to my team, look, this is realistic, guys. I think we can get the cost per click to $1.50. I don't think we can get it to $1 though, right? And I'm very experienced, so I can say those kind of statements to them. And then I'd say, so you guys need to go away, figure out how we can get a $75 AOV, because now look, we break even, right? So that's kind of why it's good to learn this, because you'll get like me, where you can just say, oh, well, let's do that and then change this, and then it should start to work, okay? And it gives you a big advantage. But all right, guys, well, I won't fry any more brain cells today. We fried a lot. EPC can't be found on Facebook, no, but you can just do total revenue, right? EPC is total revenue. So how much did I make? $500. How many clicks? And just work out the maths, okay? I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was useful. I think it was. And yeah, just practice. Remember, it'll click for every one of you. It'll click, okay? Just before we leave, last question. Where do you think you are now based on this? Retype your number to finish. What number are we at now? Some of you are 2s or 3s, so let's see what you're at. Okay, good. So hopefully some of you progressed too, right? You were at a 1, now you're a 2. Before you were a 2, going towards a 3. Good. So a lot of you, some of you progressed. Good. And yeah, they say one of the, wise people, when they become experienced, they say the smarter you become, the more you realize how much you don't know, okay? And it's kind of like that with data. If some of you after today realize, wow, how much more there is to it, that's good, okay? Because that's how much you will progress, okay? All right, guys, well, have a great week. It was great fun today. As you can tell, someone said I'm passionate about the data. Not so much the data. I'm good at math, so it becomes easy to me, but it's so passionate because it's so cool to like manipulate it and play with it to grow your business when you can master it. That's what's really fun, okay? And you guys will get there, I'm sure. But take care, everyone. Enjoy. Rewatch the recording, and I'll see you guys next week.